Good afternoon, boys and girls, moms and dads, and anyone else who wants to listen to the next to last chapter of Shiloh. Just to refresh your memory, we read the last page of this book a while back, and it went something like this. Marty Preston was walking to Judge Travers' house to try to make a bargain with him about keeping Shiloh, when all of a sudden, crack, a rifle sounded. And this time, a deer went down. I can't move. One part of me wants to go to the deer. The other part knows that somebody's out here with a rifle shooting deer out of season. And before I can decide whether to go on or turn back, out of the woods, on the other side steps Judge Travers with a rifle in his hand. Chapter 14. He's wearing this army camouflage shirt and a brown cap, and the weirdest grin that could fit on a human face. Woo-wee, he says, holding the rifle up with one hand as he plows through the weeds. I got her, woo-wee. Now, I know he wasn't out shooting rabbits and happened to get a doe instead because he doesn't have his hounds with him. Judge Travers had gone out that morning with a clear intention of getting himself a deer. I also know that if the game warden finds out about it, Judd's in big trouble because the deer he shot out of season wasn't even a buck. It was a doe. He slogs over to the waist-high weeds to where the doe lays. Bending over, he looks at her, walks around her a little piece, then says, "Ooh-wee," in a soft voice. That's when I came out of the woods. He's got his back to me now, his hands on the doe's front legs, trying to see if he can pull her himself. He drags her a little way and stops. And when he looks up, again, I'm right beside him. He whirls around. "Where'd you come from?" he says. "I was on my way over to see you," I tell him. And for the first time, standing next to Judge Travers, I feel taller than I really am. He looks at me a moment, like he don't know if he's glad I'm there or not. Then I guess he figures me being there, only a kid, doesn't matter. "Look what I got," he says. "I found her eating at my garden this morning, and I chased her over here." "That's a lie," I say. "I was back in the woods watching her eat. She was coming down from the hills the other way. You went out deer hunting for her, and for anything you could get." "Well, supposing I did," said Judge Travers, and he hates me worse than snot. "Deer ain't in season, that's what," I answer. "There's a $200 fine for killing a doe." Judge Travers is staring at me like he's about to crack me across the mouth. The way we're raised around here, children don't talk back to grown-ups. Don't hardly talk much at all. In fact, learn to listen and keep your mouth quiet. Let the grown folks do the talking. Here I am, shooting off my mouth at 5:30 in the morning to a man holding a rifle. Am I crazy or what? "Well, not unless the game warden finds out there's not," Judd says. "Who's going to tell him? You?" All at once, I realize I got Judge Travers right where I want him. One way you look at it, it's my duty to report a killed doe. The way folks up here look at it, though, that's snitching. If I could tell, but bargains not to, it's something else again. It's called blackmail. But like I said, I've got to the place where I do almost anything to get Shiloh. "Yeah," I say, my heart pounding like crazy. "I'll tell. There's a free number to call. It's on Dad's hunting papers." Boy, I sure didn't know when or what I was going to do when I came up here this morning. Now, Judd's looking at me real good. His eyes narrow down to little slits. "Your pa put you up to this?" "No, this is me talking." "Well, ain't you something now? And who's to believe you? I'll get the game warden up here. I'll show him the spot where the doe was hit, the blood, and when he finds the deer at your place, he'll believe me. The words are coming out quicker than I can think of. I'll tell him he's eating my garden, and I'll say different. The new game warden won't make any allowance even if the deer was eating your garden, which you don't just shoot deer out of season. No way, especially a doe." Now Jud's really angry, and his words come out at me like bees. "What are you trying to do, boy? Start up trouble? You think I can't put you in your place mighty quick?" "So what do?" I ask. "Shoot me?" Travers is so surprised his jaw drops. "But I'm cooking now. Nothing can stop me. Braver than I've ever been in my life." "You gonna shoot me like that dog I found up here 6 months ago?" Travers stares some more. "I know whose bullet that was, Judd, and I told my dad. And if folks find me up here, they'll know what happened." I can't hardly believe the words are coming out of my mouth. Been scared most of my life of Judge Travers, and here I am, half his size, talking like a grown person. It's because I know Shiloh's still got a chance. "So what are you waiting for?" Judd says finally. "Go get the game warden." And when I don't move, he says, Oh, come on off it, Marty. Here, you take one of those legs, I'll take the other. We'll drag it to my place. I'll give you half the meat. And don't tell me your mom won't be glad to get it. I don't want the meat. I want Shiloh. Now Judd's really surprised and whistles through his teeth. Boy, you just come up here to set me up, didn't you? I didn't have any idea in this world you were out here with your rifle, I tell him. That's one of the first truths I told in 2 weeks. I came up here because it's Sunday, the day you said to bring your dog back. And I wanted you to know that you got to fight me to get him. Now I'm telling you I mean to keep him. You expect to keep that deer without a fine? You'll make that trade. Whoa, says Travers. That's no kind of trade at all. If I hadn't gotten me a deer this morning, what would you have bargained for then? I didn't have an answer to that because I hadn't been thinking about a deal. Judd had already said he wouldn't sell Shiloh. Now Judd's eyes narrowed down even more until it almost looked like he's asleep. I just bet you would tell the game warden too. In Jesus' name, I would. If you're saying I'll let you keep my hunting dog, you got to keep this deer a secret? I begin to see now I'm no better than Judd Travers, willing to look the other way to get something I want. But this something is Shiloh. Yes, I will, I tell him, not feeling all that great about it. Well, you've got to do more than that, boy. I paid $35 for that dog, and I want $40 to let him go. For the first time, I see a thin ray of hope that maybe he'll let me buy Shiloh. I'll get you the money somehow, by and by, I promise. Oh, I don't want any money by and by. I want it now. And you haven't got it now? You work for me and pay it off. Now, if you make a deal with Judd Travers and you're only 11 years old, you take what you can get. Because all I'm thinking about is the dog. You got a bargain, I tell Judd. And now my feet want to dance and my face wants to smile, but I don't dare let the delight show through. Now, you listen here, says Judd. I'll pay you $2 an hour. That comes to 20 hours to earn $40. And the work ain't easy. I'll do it, I say. Beginning now, says Judd, and I can tell he's getting a little bit edgy that someone else might come across the field wondering about those rifle shots and see how he got a doe. Now help me get this deer to my trailer. I'm so glad to be getting Shiloh, I can hardly think straight. But I'm thinking straight enough as I drag that doe to Judd's to know that by letting him get away with this, I'm putting other deer in danger. He'll kill this one out of season, then maybe he'll kill another one out of season. To save Shiloh, I'm making it harder for deer. I swallow. All I got to do, though, is think of the way he'd look at me when I would bring him back to Judd's, then I get on with my job. When we get to the trailer at last, we carry the deer around to the three-sided shed Judd's got in his backyard. The first thing Judd does is bleed the doe, keep the meat from spoiling. Then he goes out and messes up the tracks with his foot, kicking up the grass where we matted it down and covering up the trail of blood with dust. Now, I get home from work every day at 3, he says, and want you here when I pull up. You work for me 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I want that wood stacked, I want the weeds cut and the grass mowed. I want my beans picked and the corn hoed. Whatever I think of to be done, that's what you do. And I want you here starting tomorrow. I'll be here, I says, but I want it in writing that after 20 hours of work, Shiloh belongs to me. Judd Travers grunts and goes in his trailer. He comes out with a piece of grocery bag and the words, Beagle Hunting Dog to Marty Preston for 20 hours work, J. Travers. It occurs to me suddenly that maybe after I do the work, he'll try to pay me off with one of his other dogs. So I say, write Shiloh, I tell him. He gives me a pained look and crosses the beagle out and writes Shiloh in its place. But he doesn't spell it right. He leaves off the H at the end. I take the paper and put it in my pocket. I'll be here tomorrow, I say. And you ever tell anyone about this deer, boy, you're going to be more than sorry you open your lips. You got my word, I say, which considering all the lying I've been doing lately, didn't seem like it amounted to much. It did, though. I walk away from Judd's trailer in sort of a zigzag line, half expecting a bullet or a rifle to shoot out. As soon as I'm out of sight, I race through the woods, heart going thumpity-thump. I can't keep the smile back no longer. Shiloh is mine. Shiloh is mine. The words keep coming back again and again. He's safe. I should feel even more joyful, though. But once, if I could just get Shiloh for my own, for the finest day of my life. In a way it is, in a way it wasn't. Could be Judd gave no cause. He couldn't think of nothing else at the moment to do. Said I could have it Shiloh just cause he needed some help with that deer. Could be that once he got rid of the evidence, he'd tell me to go ahead and get the warden, and that he wasn't to have the dog. Could even say that he never wrote on that grocery sack, that I wrote it myself. I don't think so, though. What worries me most is that Judd could go through with the bargain, give Shiloh to me, but then someday, when Shiloh's running free in the woods by himself, there might be another rifle in the air just to spite me. And that is the end of chapter 14, boys and girls. We'll read the last chapter 15 on Thursday. Hope you enjoyed this. And don't forget, you can watch that movie if you maybe get Netflix. You can watch that as well. And we will talk to you soon. Have a good night. Bye.